Hey there, amazing people. Welcome back. Your seat in the cinema of stories is ready. The story begins in a country called Long Trail, where a group of clowns had come to perform a circus for the kingdom. The scene then shifts to the king's court, where the show was taking place. Everyone in the court was enjoying the performance, but the queen's face showed no joy at all. During the act, one clown poured water on his partner, soaking her clothes. When she lifted them to dry, the queen suddenly realized that the girl was pregnant. Seeing this, the queen became furious and left the court, as she herself could not have children due to an illness. She had tried many times but had always failed. The king tried to console her, but the queen locked herself in her chamber. After some time, when her anger calmed down, the king went to her and reassured her. He promised that he would do anything to make her happy, and that he was willing to go to any extent for a child. One night, a sorcerer dressed in black appeared in the kingdom and met the king. He claimed that he had the solution to their problem. The sorcerer told the queen that he could show her a way to become pregnant. At first, the king did not believe him, as many others had made the same claim before. But the sorcerer gave his word and also warned them that the process would not be easy. He explained that according to the law of nature, if a child is born, someone must be sacrificed to keep balance in the world. The queen agreed to this condition and asked what she needed to do. The sorcerer revealed that deep in the sea lived a demon, and the queen would have to eat his heart. But there was one condition: the heart must be cooked by a virgin girl. Only then would the queen conceive. The very next day, the king began his preparations. He ordered a special armor to be made so that he could face the demon in battle. Once ready, the king descended into the depths of the ocean. Not far from him, he spotted the demon, who was fast asleep. Quietly, the king crept closer and suddenly attacked. He tore open the demon's body, pulled out its heart, and rose back to the surface. But in the fierce battle, the king was badly wounded and eventually lost his life. After this, the queen arrived and carefully took the heart back to her palace. She commanded one of her virgin maids to cook it. While preparing the heart, the maid began to feel strange, and soon, she too became pregnant. The queen ate the cooked heart herself and also became pregnant. In time, both the queen and the maid gave birth to sons. The queen named her child Alex, dreaming of making him the future king. The maid named her son John. As the years passed, 15 in total, both boys grew up together and became best friends. They shared everything with each other and were inseparable. But their deep friendship greatly displeased the queen. She warned Alex, telling him that as a royal heir, he should not spend time with an ordinary boy. She insisted that a prince should only befriend those who matched his status. Yet Alex refused to listen to his mother and continued to spend time with John. One day, while swimming in the sea, the two boys discovered a hidden power within themselves. They could breathe underwater. Determined to end their friendship, the queen went as far as summoning John's mother to warn her. In anger, the queen warned that if John was not kept away from Alex, she would banish both John and his mother from the kingdom. The maid promised she would talk to John, but their friendship remained unchanged. One day, while playing, Alex and John jokingly swapped clothes. John disguised himself as Alex and went into the palace. But the queen quickly grew suspicious. She recognized John by his body's scent and became furious. In rage, she ordered John to leave the kingdom. Alex tried to stop him again and again, but John said, "Your mother wants me gone, so I must leave." Heartbroken, Alex asked, "If something happens to you, how will I live without you?" John then took him to a tree and made a small cut on its trunk. Water began to flow out. John said, "As long as this tree gives water, you will know I am safe. The day it turns into red blood, you will know my life is in danger." After saying this, John left. From that day on, Alex lived alone and visited the tree daily, watching the water. But one day, he saw that instead of water, blood was flowing from the trunk. Realizing John was in grave danger, Alex secretly set out to find him. After searching for a long time, Alex reached John's home. The people there, mistaking him for John, began to cry and embraced him. Alex told them the truth, that he was not John but Alex. He shared the story of his bond with John. It was then that he learned John had already been married. The villagers revealed that some days earlier, John had gone into a dangerous forest and never returned. Hearing this, Alex set out toward the forest. Meanwhile, when the queen noticed that Alex was missing, she went to the same sorcerer who had once given her the way to become a mother and pleaded for help. The sorcerer told her, "If you want to save your son's life, you must offer a sacrifice." The queen agreed. At that time, John was hiding inside a cave deep in the forest. His body was covered in blood as he was struggling to escape from a dangerous monster. Crying out for help, his voice reached Alex, who immediately rushed there. Alex fought the monster bravely, striking it down with his sword and saving John. But just then, the monster's body slowly began to change into a human form, and it turned out to be Alex's own mother. The queen had sacrificed herself to protect her son. After this, Alex carried John back to his home and then returned to the palace. With his mother's death, he became the new king and began to rule the kingdom. The next story begins with another king. This king set out on a hunt, carrying a gun. He was a man of colorful desires, always seeking the company of women. He was searching for a beautiful bride and had gathered a large amount of jewelry and wealth for it. In the same kingdom lived two old women who were twin sisters. The elder one was named Dora and the younger was Emma. Dora was greedy by nature, while Emma was kind and generous. Neither of them had ever stepped outside their home, nor had they ever married. What made these sisters special was their sweet and enchanting voice. Even though they were quite old, their voices still sounded as young and sweet as teenage girls. One day, Dora was singing at home when the king happened to pass by. The moment he heard her voice, he was completely enchanted. The king thought, "If her voice is this beautiful, then surely the girl herself must be even more beautiful." He insisted that Dora show him her face. Hearing this, both sisters were terrified. They feared that if the king discovered they were actually old women, he might kill them in anger. So they quickly came up with a plan. According to it, Dora told the king, "You called me so suddenly, I feel unprepared. But if you invite me again after a week, I will definitely come." The king agreed and left. From the very next day, the sisters tried to make their fingers look young. They used different medicines, but nothing worked. Their fingers looked youthful for a short while, but soon returned to their wrinkled old state. This left them disappointed. Meanwhile, Emma tried something unusual. She kept sucking one of her fingers continuously. After some time, she noticed that the finger had become soft, smooth, and youthful, just like that of a young girl. But while they were busy experimenting, the week had already passed. The king returned and knocked on the door, saying, "The week is over. Now you must show me your face." The sisters panicked, realizing the king would not give up so easily. They knew they had to do something quickly. Then, Dora pushed Emma's beautiful finger out through the door and said, "For today, I can only show you this finger." The king saw the youthful finger and instantly became obsessed. He held it and kissed it passionately. Watching this, the sisters grew even more anxious, because they knew if the truth was exposed, their lives would be in grave danger. The king then said, "I want to see your face and live with you." Dora replied, "I agree, but I am very shy. You can only meet me at night, and you must promise that no lamp or light will be lit during that time." The king happily accepted her condition and left. After this, both sisters used glue to hide the wrinkles on their faces. Their plan worked, and Dora's skin looked young again. Amma then got Dora ready, and soon a soldier arrived to take her to the palace. On the way, Big Bo put out every lamp they saw, following Dora's condition. After a while, Dora reached the royal palace. She entered a dark room where there was no light. In that darkness, the king spent time with her. But later, when Dora fell asleep, the king became curious to see her face. Before she could wake up, he lit a candle and looked at her. To his shock, he realized he had spent the whole night with an old woman. Angry, the king ordered his guards to throw her out of the window. The soldiers obeyed, but Dora's dress got caught while falling, and her life was saved. At that very moment, a sorceress appeared. She cast a spell on Dora, turning her into a beautiful young woman. However, Dora could not clearly remember what kind of magic was done to her. A few days later, while hunting in the forest, the king saw Dora again. He was instantly enchanted by her beauty. He took her back to the palace and announced to everyone that she would be his future wife. The marriage of the king and Dora was fixed. Dora sent a wedding invitation to her sister Emma, along with a beautiful dress. At last, the wedding day arrived, and Emma came to attend. But when she saw Dora, she was stunned. She couldn't believe that this was the same Dora. Emma asked her, "How did you become so beautiful?" Dora replied, "I cut away my old skin. Slowly, new skin grew on my body, and I started to look young again." On her way back from the wedding, Emma stopped at a shop where a man was selling knives. She went to him and begged for help in removing her skin. In return, she promised to give him all her jewelry. She handed over every piece of her precious ornaments, and seeing so much wealth, the man agreed. He took Emma into the forest, tied her to a tree, and began cutting off her skin piece by piece with a knife. Covered in wounds, Emma somehow freed herself and tried to walk back to the palace. But before she could reach, she collapsed and died on the way. Meanwhile, Dora also began to feel uneasy. Her skin started to change again, and slowly she turned old. Before the king could discover the truth, Dora fled. As soon as she stepped outside, she changed back into an old woman. She ran away quickly, deciding never to return. And so, the second story comes to an end. Now begins the third story about a strange king. His wife had died many years ago, and he had only one daughter, named Violet. After his wife's death, the king had grown bitter and angry toward his daughter. One day, while the king was sitting in his court, he noticed a small insect on his hand sucking his blood. Instead of killing it, the king decided to keep it as a pet. Slowly, the insect grew larger and larger by drinking the king's blood. The king became so attached to it that he spent more time caring for the insect than worrying about his daughter's marriage. But one day, the insect fell ill and died. After that, the king finally decided it was time to get his daughter married. He planned to hold a competition, and whoever won would marry Violet. Hearing this, Violet was heartbroken, but for the sake of her father's happiness, she agreed. News of the competition spread not only across the kingdom but also to the neighboring states. On the day of the contest, everyone was shocked to see that the king had kept the insect's skin and announced that whoever could correctly identify the name of the creature would win his daughter's hand. Princes came from far and wide, but none could guess the insect's real name. Then came a man named Ogre. He was huge and powerful, but ugly and terrifying to look at. The king's guards tried to stop him, but he boldly declared that he had also come to take part in the competition. Hearing this, the guards allowed him inside. Ogre went straight to the insect's skin, examined it carefully, sniffed it for a while, and then revealed its true name. At that moment, Princess Violet panicked. Terrified of marrying him, she decided to end her life by jumping off the palace roof. But just in time, the king rushed to stop her. He told her, "My daughter, I have given my word before everyone. If you end your life, then who will fulfill my promise?" Hearing her father's words, Violet reluctantly agreed. After that, the ogre took her away to a cave high up in the mountains. Once they reached, he locked Violet inside. For many days she sat there crying, trapped and hopeless. One day, while the ogre went out hunting, Violet saw a woman on the mountain opposite the cave. She called out to her and shared her entire story, begging for help. The woman felt pity for her and promised to rescue her. Soon, she brought her family along. They were circus performers, and together they planned a way to free Violet. They tied a long rope between the two mountains. Then one of the circus artists carefully walked across the rope to reach the cave. He lifted Violet onto his shoulders and slowly brought her back across. Just then, the ogre returned and climbed onto the rope, trying to reach them. But the artist managed to get Violet to safety and quickly cut the rope. The ogre fell down the cliff. Everyone thought he was dead. But a few days later, he came back. He tracked down the woman's family and killed them all, one by one. Only Violet managed to escape and hide inside another cave. But the ogre eventually found her there as well and captured her again. With no other choice left, Violet pretended to surrender. This calmed the ogre's anger for a while. Then, at the right moment, Violet struck him and cut his throat, killing him. She severed his head, and covered in blood, she returned to her father's palace. Throwing the head before him, she cried out, "Look, this is the monster you chose for me." She burst into tears, and the king finally realized his mistake. Regretful, he asked Violet for forgiveness. To make up for his fault, he declared her the new queen of the kingdom. Soon after, Violet's coronation was celebrated with great joy and festivity. And with this, our final story comes to an end. Today's tale is over, but the adventure never truly stops. Keep your popcorn ready, because the next story is just around the corner. Until then, stay curious, stay entertained. That's the end of today's movie explanation. Thanks for watching Story Rush, your home for unforgettable stories. See you in the next one.